Right, I've got Prontoface open, whatever it's called, and I'm about to print this. It's a one wall object, just a like calibration test piece really, and I want to show you the actions that happen when I do it. This is blue painter's tape. It is a heated bed, but the heating on the bed is not turned on at all. I sanded this down a bit, and last time I went to print this object it came out fine. So let's try it again. Now when I do print, it's going to play some music at certain times, because I do have this like micro switch for auto leveling, but it's manual, so it clips up and it clips down, and I have to do that manually, and that's why I play the music. It gives me a chance to clip it one way or the other, depending whether it's doing the auto leveling or not. So I thought I'd just explain that before I start. It does come up with messages on the display there at the bottom, whether to have this up, the probe up, or the probe down basically. Okay, so get ready for some music. And first of all, it's telling me to raise the, let me turn this light off because it's getting too much, raise it up for homing. So it's going to home, and basically I've got two switches. I've got one here on the right, just a normal switch, and the one actually on this end. They're both in serial, so if either are tripped it will get the zero signal. Doesn't matter which one is tripped, it gets a zero signal. Now this goes on quite a long time, so I'm going to cut this out a bit. And then it starts the home, as you see, so it's just going to the home position, which is basically about the centre of the bed, because it does have auto leveling on this. That's what this probe switch is for. Now at the moment I'm playing the music, as I say, to give me a chance to, so you can grab that bit of plastic that's oozed out there, give me a chance to move this head. Obviously this can be put on a servo, which is probably something that needs to be done. And now you see it's playing a different tune, but it's also saying on the display move the probe down, because it's going to be starting to do the auto leveling. So switch this round. Now it does come higher up. Again we get quite a bit of a tune, so I'm going to cut this out to save time, but this would presumably be on a servo to switch this up and down. Cut this out, and now it's coming down to do the auto leveling routine. Now it stops about say 5 or 10 millimeters above the bed, and then it will move to the left and start touching off on the auto leveling probe, which this micro switch here is basically. So there it is, glides over there. Touches 9 points at the moment, I think it is. 3 on this side, like this, 1 in the middle. Then moves to the right, does 1 there. And then it does about the middle of the bed, like the centre line of the bed approximately. Checking that. Quite a lot of these adjustments, the height it's going there can be adjusted in Marlin and such like. And then it does the final one over here. That's as far forward as this bed can come, so it can't really do the very back edge of the bed, this probe anyway. And then it plays another tune, and it tells me to move the probe up, ready for the print. So now I switch this up, like that. and then it's going to actually start the print. Well, once it reaches temperature. Might take a couple of seconds to reach, well, a couple of minutes or so to reach actual temperature of the hot end. No heat bed on it with this print. This is PLA. So now it's going to start actually doing the print. Nozzle doesn't look too bad. Sometimes I get to go quite high there to take off any ooze that's coming off. And I'm getting it to print like skirts, brims, raft and all sorts at the moment. Getting quite a chunk off there. I think it's just an odd piece. Just take that little bit off there. Let me try and zoom in a little bit, and I'll try to move angles as well. It's quite hard to get the light in here because of this probe. One thing about having a probe like this on the front is it hides the print object to be printed to a certain extent. I'm going to be moving the lights about just to try to see if I can get a bit better lighting on that. I'm going to leave this going. I might speed it up a little bit, and then I'll come back when it's finished. Now you might notice if you look at the axis there, the Z axis, it is like moving as it's going left and right and backwards and forwards to allow for any offset of the bed leveling. Let me try and zoom in on that one there. So you can see that that is moving as the bed's coming backwards and forwards and left and right. It's doing diagonal, doing the raft I think now. Just show you the display. It does show a fan there, but don't really have a fan on the print sort of thing. Obviously there's a fan on the HotEnd, E3D-v6. Just to keep that cool, and that does a good job. Just on the side around there, you probably won't see it. And basically now I'm just going to leave it. Sorry about the lighting here, but hopefully you can see that that is doing quite well. I'm trying to raise up this camera if I can. As I say, if you look at the Z thing, it is adjusting the level as it's moving about. So the auto leveling does appear to be working. How good it is, because I still haven't printed a really big object on this at the moment anyway. And obviously every so often it'll jig a bit, you'll hear it. And that's it when it's moving up to the next level. Also with this sprinter, is it slicer 3 whatever, sorry, it's not done a random seam on it. I don't know why. So it seems to be like moving up at the same level all the time. It might be because this is a single wall object. So it should be finishing off in a few minutes, I think. The feed thing here is not very good. I've had to muck about with that a lot as well. Another, sorry about any creaking, that's a tripod. Where it is at the moment is very quiet, so yeah, good look at that Z thing to a certain extent there, turning, moving as it's printing, and also chick, and it moves up another layer. It should be done random. I've asked for random, but somebody said it is a bit iffy. Somebody said about unticking the random, but that's impossible to do as far as I know, because there's only 3 settings and you have to pick one of them being random. Finishing off, there we go. And at the end I'm asking it to come both left and up to try and remove any ooze that's on here. Because even with this E3D-v6 HotEnd, you might see I'm getting quite a bit of ooze there. So this is a Bowden, so it might want more retraction. And then it will play a tune at the end to tell me it's finished, but the bed will move forward as well. And this, I can pull it off quite easily. Let me try to get this, let me get some better lighting, well, a few seconds. So, here it is. And you might notice that there is a line there. So that's the seam, and that's the ooze as it's finishing here. But apart from that, this is 1 wall thickness. So like a calibration sort of piece, just to sort of test how well it can do 1 wall thickness. Quite springy, PLA. And I pull those apart. I'm pulling quite forcefully there and gripping and pulling, and I can't really pull those layers apart. So that is fine. I'll just show you about removing this. Now I found using just my fingernails, careful that you don't break your fingernails. Obviously you want the bed to be cool if you have a heated bed on. Just get it under the edge. Excuse my hand here. There we are. So It's sort of like the raft. It's the bottom on this blue painter's tape. So this is just blue painter's tape. It has been lightly sanded, just some sandpaper, and then cleaned off a bit with alcohol. Just wiped once, because you don't want to rub it back in. And that seems to do very well with that. And I'm going to do another video, hopefully I can link to, and also show you that on the next print it starts printing 10mm above without really changing any settings. So here's what it says on the inside there. Now it does have quite a nice, what I would call texture, a little bit rough, very fine. Find the end, just catching that with my nail. So you can quite easily tear, and there's a bit of, I presume that's to help stop it sticking to itself. So, sorry, this is going out of shot here, but let me pull it between my knees, cut that bit off. Now what I'm thinking about is the auto leveling, that it'll be different height if I don't cover all the bed, but I think I can allow for that in the software. I mean, that's laid on that bed reasonably well. I'm pressing it, like particularly the edges there. I'm not going to cover all the bed because I'm only going to try small, and with the tape I'm going to just fold that end over there so it's easier to find the end and get back off later on. Right, I'm going to talk about the auto leveling that I'm using. Basically, this is an expansion bracket off a computer, basically, hole drilled in the top of the plate there, and I have to manually turn this down, the microswitch on here, or up, obviously depending where it is in the stage. So what I'm asking the software to do is actually play some music and display a message on the LCD to tell me when to raise this and lower it. Now some of the music does go on a long time that I'm picked, but that's just temporarily, I hope, because if this works out reasonably well, is obviously I'll see about possibly putting a servo on here to automatically do it. Let me zoom in on that or move closer. So as you see, there's a microswitch, and there's like a spring on behind this washer. The two plates is like putting the pressure together. I've put a dent in this front plate and a hole in the back plate, so the dent will almost bump into the hole and it'll latch up to a certain extent in that position quite well, or in this position. And this is actually connected at the moment in series that is, with my normal end stop, which is still on the side here. So if either of these switches are triggered, it gets a sense that it is at the end. Now I aren't 100% sure about this, because there's so many problems I've had with this, with the build plate and other issues, is that it seems to me like this switch almost overtakes this one, because I have known that this has come down and it's actually knocked this other end switch over here down lower. Even though it's switched and triggered, it's gone past that and forcibly pushed this other end switch down over here. So it's physically, because that can move a bit. It's not exactly, well, I mean, it's quite firm, but it's not like super tight. It's not welded on there or nothing. So it can move, that switch, but only if it's under quite a bit of pressure.